Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and the day is finally upon us. The Division Beta is live on the Xbox One. It's going to be going live tomorrow on the PlayStation 4 and the PC. The wider world is finally playing the game that has recently received a hell of a lot of hype, probably more so from the community than it actually has from Ubisoft and Massive and Red Storm and all the studios working on the game. Nonetheless, I'm very excited to finally bring you guys my impressions of the game. Now, we're actually going to be breaking this into two videos. We're going to be talking today about all of the PvE open world style stuff, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about the Dark Zone, because I do feel the Dark Zone deserves its own discussion, plus it's going to help prevent you guys, those of you who are maybe just looking in on the Division, from being confused. I'm sorry if I'm slurring. It's super early. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Woke up early just to play the beta. Not something I regret at all, because I actually really, really love the Division, and it's nice to be able to say that now that the NDA has been lifted, at least in the beta. I know I probably can't really talk 100% about the alpha, but, I mean, same game. Obviously, there's a lot of improvements that have been made here in the beta. I'm not going to act like things have gone unchecked, because they haven't, but I'm not going to point out those improvements, because I just don't feel that that's right. We're just going to talk about what's here. We're going to talk about what's awesome. We're going to talk about why I am already in love with what this game has to offer, what it does right, and some of the things that I do think could still use some improvement, at least from an early game perspective. You have to remember that we're only like level 5. I think we're probably going to be able to get to like level, at level like 8 zone in the beta, and I guess that's the first place we should start. Before we talk about the visuals that are being represented here in the Xbox One version, let's go ahead and open up the map so you guys can get an idea of what's available here in the beta. So everything inside of this red zone, this is obviously the dark zone here, so we're going to have all of this dark zone, at least in the beta, and you can see the much larger area of the dark zone that'll be available in the full game, and then you can see all of the other zones here that'll be available in the full game, at least at launch. And then we have all the other stuff that is supposedly going to be DLC at some point, including a bit of Central Park over there. You know, I love that Central Park's even on the map. That definitely is very, very exciting to me. Also, upon booting up the game, I saw a brief notification regarding the game's Season Pass, which comes in the $100 package, and it said 3 massive expansions. So I'm going to hold them to that. I'm going to hold you to that, Ubisoft, Massive, Red Storm, all of you guys. This better be 3 massive expansions. So a bit of what's going on the map. You can see our base of operations, which we have opened up. You can see we've got a current mission to go to the Dark Zone. We also have a mission that we can replay. This is one of the first big main missions. So think of this as a dungeon in a typical RPG. We can actually play this on 2 different difficulty levels. You can play it on hard and normal. So there is a reason to go back. You're going to get an equipment item that is of blue rarity, which of course is a good thing. But let's go ahead, and we don't actually want to do that mission, so I'm going to go and deselect that.
I spent 6 years in medical school. I don't give a shit what... We've got a rioter take over it.
There we go. Okay, so the first place that I want to start with the Division is the open world itself, because I feel that makes the most sense. It's an open world game. It has seamless transitions into everything. There are no load times. Even when you go into the Dark Zone, you're really just transitioning through a small hub that pushes you into an instance. If there is any load time going into the instance, it's completely disguised. You literally open a door, seconds later you're in the Dark Zone. It's very, very well done. I was going to say amazingly well done, but I feel like I've been using the word amazingly a little bit too often. So we're going to start by just trekking around the city a little bit. We're going to explore some of the back alleys, hopefully find some buildings that we can access, talk a little bit about the visuals while we do it. We've already got over here a collectible. So collectibles are actually a fairly big part of the Division. They're going to help tell you stories. You can actually go to your operating base and gain access to these incident reports, actually read them in full. Some of the collectibles will actually be available to read right out in the open field. They might be telephone calls, text messages, lots of different things. Now, the point of collectibles, apart from revealing bits and pieces of background from, people who were involved in this crisis. I mean, you're literally learning a little bit more about the people who had to deal with this on a regular basis, who are dealing with it. Some of them may have passed on, some of them may haven't. It's cool little bits and pieces of insight into the the characters that are involved in the world. But at the same time, it also will help you unlock cosmetic items to change the appearance of your character, and that's something we'll talk about in a little bit. First and foremost, though, let's close some car doors. Just close all the car doors. Okay, now that everybody's had a bit of a moment of excitement there, let's move forward. I think, is this actually... Okay, no, it's not. most of the buildings that you can enter are going to have the doors open. The only time you ever really need to open doors is once you're actually inside of a building. But there's some stuff going on. Okay, here we go. We got a chest. So the cool thing about the minimap, what I like about the way they handled it is, it's not that everything is immediately viewable on your map. Like, you can't open your larger map and just find all of the chests and crates and things in the game. But once you get close enough, they'll automatically be identified. So it's not this game of, like, wasting hours upon hours searching every nook and cranny for the next piece of loot. You know, you're rewarded simply for going to a location that's out of the ordinary in the first place. And once you're in, you know, within that area of operations, the game will reveal to you some awesome stuff. So we got some friendly JTF guys here. You can see the level of detail in this game. This is actually a perfect place to talk about the visuals. Despite the fact this is running on a console, 30 FPS, obviously visuals are downgraded. We're going to see some pop-ins, some blurry textures in the distance. I still think they've nailed the atmosphere in this game. I still think it is stunning. I think the Snowdrop engine is an amazing piece of tech. And I can't wait to see this running on my PC, as I'm sure many of you can. I will definitely be checking out the PC version this weekend, as a matter of fact. I'll be doing a separate video to talk about the visual quality of the PC version and just playing the game as a whole. But the level of detail here, we've got a lot of moving objects, you know, actual cloth materials, the weather effects themselves, which I hope by the time we're done playing this video, done with our first impression here, we'll see a snowstorm. There are proper snowstorms and flurries that happen during the day and the night. They decrease visibility. They make combat situations more interesting, even inside of the dark zone. Yes. Some of my best moments in the alpha were running around with my brother in just these insanely low visibility flurries. These absolute just snowstorms ripping through the dark zone, you know, wreaking havoc, going rogue, just having a hell of a good time, even in the PvE as well. So the game, no doubt, has an incredibly insane level of detail to the world design. I mean, like, when you look at how many how many objects, I don't care that you can't interact with them, that not all of them are, you know, are going to move and break and things of nature. They're there, they provide an extra layer of detail to the environment, and I appreciate that. I really, really do. There's so much stuff going on in the world design. Did you just take a crap? I'm pretty sure he just took a crap. And there's lots of doors to close. There's just, you know, it looks lived in. It looks like a place that was once filled with people. This is New York City. I mean, it's a freaking jam-packed place, you know? There's a lot of stuff going on here. It has to look like it was once that place and it's now in disarray, and I think it does. I think they've nailed that aspect of it. So let's close some more doors, and then let's open our map here. Before we go ahead and do that main mission, we got some side missions that we can do here. We can do a little bit of traversing and navigating across the city. Let's go do this hostage rescue one over here. Now, on top of the side missions that are actually given from the notification board, which you can gain access to inside of your base of operations, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, there are also random events that occur. Some of those are helping JTF agents, you know, just random combat missions, sometimes securing or defending a JTF member or even a civilian against an attack from the rioters or from any of the different, you know, sort of bad guy factions in the game. So let's get going over this way. Not too far away. It's a very beautiful game. It really is. I think the thing that's going to take people by surprise the most, you know, a lot of people, I think when they saw the gameplay trailers, they saw pictures and images, you know, they're all like, oh, you're probably not even be able to go into any of those buildings, blah, blah. You'll be shocked by the number of buildings you actually can enter. And a lot of them are just, you know, it just happens kind of casually. You're running through an alleyway, next thing you're in a building, you're going up to the second floor, you're raiding someone's wardrobe for a new hat, or a new pair of pants, you know. There's things and reasons to go and explore the deeper, darker corners of the world. I love that. I really do. It makes the world a lot of fun to be in, and it definitely gives it a level of replayability.
I'll be fine, I promise. It's gonna be okay. We can do this. I know we can.
I'm not sure I can.
You don't have a choice.
They don't give a damn about us.
Like, the human nature, right? They tried to portray that in the sort of live-action trailer that they built. I think they do a good job of portraying it through the civilians. You're going to notice a lot of civilians engaging in conversation inside the windows of their homes, you know, just trying to get on with their daily lives, even though things have gone to hell. First bit of real combat here, and I'm just, oh, we need to run away. I'm screwing this all up. I've got some decent weapons at this point, actually, from running that main mission. We've got a Super 90 shotgun here, which I became a huge fan of in the alpha. I actually used this in the Dark Zone. My brother and I went rogue for 5 minutes, which is like, I believe, the maximum time you can go rogue. And we had like over 40 kills. A stupid amount of Dark Zone points, and it was all with the Super 90 and an M416 I had at the time. So a little bit more. Okay, here we go. We got some back alley exploration. This is what I was looking for. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. What's that noise? You guys hear that? So there's like a data pad or something hiding around down here. I don't know if it's down this way. Let's see if we can find it. It was on our map for a second. I know you guys had to have saw that. We're missing something. We're going back up. I don't know if it's bugged out, but it sounds like there's just like a little UFO here, just making noise and just floating somewhere. Huh. I don't know, that's odd. It's not like we can get inside of any of the buildings here. I think it's a bugged sort of resource or collectible. Like there should be something here. Let's open the map. I don't think there's gonna be anything on the map. Oh, it's a crashed drone. Okay. Well, I mean that's cool and all. It's unfortunate that we can't actually find the crash drone, but there's a crash drone. That's the second one I've heard. I think the crash drones are all bugged out. Okay, well, now that we know that that is done and over with, let's go continue onward with our hostage rescue here. Let's actually just make our way down this way again. Reload our primary and secondary weapons there. We'll stop for a second too once we get down to the city here, and I'll show you guys a little bit of the actual character menu and stuff. I know that's something that a lot of people probably want to see. I feel like the open world itself is far more interesting than any of that menu stuff, so I definitely wanted to gloss over that and kind of show you guys a bit of the game. I'm hoping we can find some more interior locations to stumble into, because they're some of my favorite things in the game. But looks like we're gonna have to gauge a little bit more combat here. We got another area secure. So this is another one of those random events. Basically, you go to an area, it has a large group of enemies. They're trying to hold down this area for whatever reason. Oh, we got a JTF guy. Alright, we gotta save this dude. So let's talk a little bit about combat while we're getting things on here. Recoil is something you definitely have to control. You're going to notice weapons can be very high recoil at times, especially when going full auto. In fact, going full auto isn't recommended. It's one of the things that does disappoint me is I wish there was some sort of way to change your weapon's fire rate. I would love to be able to go single shot on my M4 here. Let's go ahead and use our healing grenade rather than wasting a med kit, which is in a lot of ways more valuable because it's instant. It doesn't require a cooldown to use multiple times. You notice that that actually said the character was suppressed. If you put an enemy under enough fire, they will become suppressed, which means they will hunker down. It gives the opportunity for a teammate to flank. It's an especially useful tactic when dealing with higher level enemies, but you have to be careful. Let's put it this way, because not all legendary enemies will actually... There we go, we got the hostage key. I didn't realize we were actually right on top of the hostage zone. A lot of the higher level enemies cannot be suppressed. So, like the elite tier enemies, some of the like legendary styles, they can't be suppressed, even with a ridiculous amount of gunfire. All right, where's the loot, guys? Come on, I saved you. Now give me the big, fat, cool gun. Let's see what we get out of this. So we got a hunting holster. I guess this is a good time to show you guys some of the equipment screen and give you guys an understanding as to how it works and what actually affects your statistics. So we have our 3 weapon slots. We've got a secondary, a primary and a secondary, and also we have a sidearm that goes in a separate slot. In terms of equipped gear, we've got basically 6 layers of armor. We've got a chest piece. We've got the gas mask, knee pads, a backpack, gloves, and your pistol holster. That's what they've chosen. It does have a visual appearance as well. Putting new things on will change to some degree, but it's mostly statistical value. So right now we've got this bodyguard vest that I found on, which is only level 6 or level 4, but it's a blue. It's specialized, which means we've got a set of major and minor attributes. It's also giving us 19 stat bonus. So you have different stat elements. You've got like electronics, stamina, and firearms, which you can also see at the top of your screen under primary DPS, health, and skill power. Those are also going to attribute to the talents and perks that you're going to be able to use in the full game. But right now, major attributes with this bodyguard vest, this thing is awesome. You got plus 3% health on kill, plus 15% armor, as well as a minor attribute of plus 13% ammo capacity. Now we can also go ahead and mark stuff as junk and then eventually just deconstruct it all. So let's go into our armor here. Let's go ahead and mark this one as well. I'm pretty happy with the recruit one that we have there, so I'm not gonna swap that, even though I do see it has slightly better statistics. So I actually want to continue to have my stamina be high because it's helping me increase my health, and since I'm running solo right now, that's something that I'm okay with. It is early game. The enemies aren't exceptionally difficult early game. I would say the biggest challenge you're going to have is that mission that I showcased you guys inside of that big medical location. When you run that mission on hard, it's actually hard. In the alpha, it was actually hard. I played it with my brother at a relatively high level, and it was fairly challenging. So I imagine if you ran that solo, things would be a little bit more dicey. But early game, the game doesn't provide that much of a challenge with combat. I mean, you saw how easily we were mowing these guys down. That's something I wish they would tune for full release. I don't even care if it just means, giving the enemies a little bit more health. They die too quickly early on. The time to kill is too short early game. As the game increases, though, and you get through the difficulty levels, which will probably happen fairly quickly, the game does become a little bit more challenging. And we're going to talk a little bit more about combat, but let's go ahead, get out of this menu here and show you guys the cosmetic options. So these are all cosmetic items. They only change your character's visual appearance. We can have a hat, on or off. My guy's bald. We definitely need that trapper hat to keep us warm. We've got a different set of jackets that I've found here. We can do a trendy puff jacket, trendy leather jacket. I'm going to stick with the parka, different chinos, sneakers, different shirts even. None of this affects your character statistically. It's all cosmetic. You can find these in houses, apartment buildings, loot crates. You can find them off enemies. Like I said, you can find them from securing a certain amount of collectibles. There's lots of ways to secure more cosmetic items. And it's a great way to set your character apart. It's also a great way to make sure that your character's RPing real hard. I've got that nice Ushanka, or however you'd say it, hat on. I've got a nice parka and some chinos to keep me nice and warm in the bitter, infected New York City cold. Okay, what was I saying we're going to talk about? Combat, right? So let's go ahead and do this main mission. We've kind of bumbled around a little bit. See, we got the supermarket here. I was trying to showcase some more interior locations for you guys to prove to people that there are a lot of them, but you really just end up stumbling upon them. Like I said, they exist in the dark zone and outside of the dark zone. There's, cool entry points to them. Some of them have rappel entry points, backdoor entrances into apartment buildings. There's a lot of reasons to really explore the world. It's dense. There's a lot of good stuff here. There really is. But let's go ahead and we're going to head and do this medical mission. I'm tempted to do it on hard, but I have a feeling that normal is going to be a challenge enough, and I don't really want to spend 6.5 hours chewing through on it. I'm thinking I'm actually going to record a playthrough cooperatively with my brother of the medical mission on hard, and just throw it up for you guys so you can see the gameplay and sort of get a feel for it if you're unable to participate in the beta or just kind of, on the fence about this. So now we could actually go into matchmaking here. This is the cool thing about this game, is that matchmaking can be done for any of the missions. You can even go back to the social hubs. At the start of the game, there's a social hub near the pier, and you can matchmake from there. You can matchmake to get into groups to do PvE. The game has matchmaking. This is important to a lot of people. I'm stressing this because I know Destiny doesn't have matchmaking in places where people wish it had matchmaking. Now, the game is supposedly going to have larger scale raid type content similar to Destiny. We do not know if that's going to have matchmaking. Nothing has been said about that. So we could change the difficulty to hard. We're going to get an equipment item rather than a weapon. We're going to do it on normal, though. We're not going to matchmake it. So we're just going to go ahead and hit select. And basically we can just go in and do it. These guys already breached this door, which is a good thing because we didn't see them use their messed up breaching charge. No, seriously, the first time I did that mission, the breaching charge breached the other way. Like, it blew out towards it. It was the weirdest looking explosion ever. Alright, they don't know we're here yet. Let's go ahead and... Okay, they do know we're here. Let's throw our scanner up just to make use of it. Identify some threats. Oh yeah, Super 90 shotgun for the win. Let's finish this last guy with our pistol here. Now, the cool thing about this 1911 is that I got it early game actually from one of the small boss type characters. And it has a talent perk on it that's unlocked because it's only a green, so we don't really have a high level of requirements to unlock its talent. The talent basically gives us bonus damage when an enemy is below 30% health. So right now, this guy, definitely below 30% health, we're gonna get big bonus damage for engaging him with this pistol. And you're gonna be able to find a lot of weapons out in the field. Blues, you know, purples, oranges, that are all gonna have those statistics, those talents that are gonna need to be unlocked by meeting a certain set of skill requirements. But they are definitely worth unlocking. They're gonna give you some serious benefits, and within that system, right, that whole gear system, all of those primary and secondary sort of ability bonuses that you get, you can see the layers of detail that you're gonna have in how you build your character through the gear that you acquire. Like, it's not just about acquiring the next piece of gear, the next highest damage piece of gear, the next highest defense piece of gear. It's about focusing on those stat bonuses, those different ability bonuses to build a character that fits your playstyle, that maybe helps make your healing build more effective, your security build more effective, you know, your turret deployment more effective. Like, there are bonuses that affect everything. They're going to help you really build your character. And that's where things are going to get fun, right? Most shooters are afraid to go that deep into the RPG realm. The Division hasn't been afraid to do that. And I think that's the best thing, one of the best things it's done. Okay, alright, Fei Lao, we got this. Fei Lao is sort of the badass female hero type character who is a part of the Division. She was wounded on your way into New York City, but she's still just being badass and supporting you. And actually a thoroughly enjoyable character. I really like her just level of ferocity. There's something really fun about her. She's like the sort of Rambo, you know, Bruce Willis female Bruce Willis character, because you see her and she's had the worst day ever. You know, her eyes like practically gouged out. She's all bandaged up. She can barely walk. She's got a massive chunk of meat torn out of her leg. But she's just like, you know, we're here to do this thing. We gotta like save the world and stuff. Like, this is our job. She just doesn't give a damn. I like that. There's some fun characters in the Division. Even in the beta, you're gonna run into a lot of them if you guys are playing. Miriam, one of the ladies at the first social post who gives you missions. She is a very odd, sort of happy-go-lucky character. She's weird. Let's just put it that way. She talks about making somebody tuna fish sandwiches at one point.
Warning. Additional hostiles detected.
Get that recoil control on there. We should talk about the modifications I have on my M4. We'll do that in a little bit as soon as we're done with this combat segment, because modifications, much like all of the gear that you have, can give you valuable stat bonuses that change the performance of your weapon or make it more effective in certain situations or with certain playstyles, which is exactly what customization and modification should be about in a game that has such heavy RPG elements. Now, what we could have done in that fight, I was pretty confident we'd be alright in that. If it was a more challenging fight, we could have applied some buffs to our character. So if I hold right in the D-pad here, we've got healing effects, we've got remove status effects, we can give ourselves a bonus damage to elite enemies, we can use Soda to decrease our skill cooldown reaction time. Sorry. Incendiary bullets and explosive bullets. Now, these things all have cooldowns, so once you deploy one of them, there's a cooldown in the entire wheel. So if you use an incendiary bullet, then you're not going to be able to use water for a certain amount of time. It's one big trade-off. It's not about using them all at once. It's very much about a balance of what you can use and how long you have to wait before you can use another one. So let's open up our weapon modification system here and take a look at what I'm running on this M4 to make it a little bit more effective. So you can see that we've got a skin slot, a optic slot, a magazine slot, an underbarrel slot, as well as a muzzle slot. Now it always tells you the number of available mods before you even click on it, so I know I have 2 underbarrel mods, which for some reason I took my underbarrel attachment off of this. I have 1 reflex mod and 1 magazine mod. Now if we actually look at the reflex sight that we have here, it's going to give us 2.5% optimal range. Obviously a nice little bonus there, increasing the range of the weapon, making it a little bit more effective. 16% magazine size. If we go ahead and re-equip this, I don't know what I did to that. This is going to give us 3.5% initial bullet stability. So those first bursts that you fire are going to be a little bit more accurate. And I understand already the importance of burst firing in this game. It makes a huge difference between spraying. So I really dug that vertical grip. Now there are a lot of varieties of these attachments. Okay, we're good. My Elgato just cut out for a second. Back to what we were talking about. I didn't actually continue talking for once. I actually recognized that it cut out. It was wonderful. So there are actually a lot of different varieties of these weapons in terms of these attachments, in terms of the statistical bonuses that they provide you, but also in terms of their visual appearance. I mean, we've got like crazy colored ones. We've got like, the hand stop style. We've got angled. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that. I know a lot of people like, customizing a firearm, making it really look like their own. So I like the variety within the optics, the actual visual differences of them. Same thing goes with like laser sights. There's going to be foregrips with laser sights on them. Now the optic that you're seeing here is just a reflex sight. So this is something I want to point out because a lot of people have asked me about it. It does not actually go into any sort of scope mode. Most of the red dots will not do that. However, once you have an actual scope that provides a level of proper zoom, like an ACOG or an actual rifle scope, you will have a proper 3D scope with a crosshair and all of that goodness. So those of you guys out there who are really looking forward to using the DMRs and doing some sniping, you will have rifle scopes, don't worry. They do exist in the game. It's not all just right stick zoom, over the shoulder style stuff.
Then I think about all the people doing their best.
I have to admit, I would have actually enjoyed had they done a system like Future Soldier did, where you actually did have the ability to see down your sight optics, regardless of what kind of an optic it was. I understand the push to keep everything in third person, and I do also agree that to somewhat the going into first person in Future Soldier can be a little bit jarring at times, but I don't know. I guess the option to toggle between both would have been nice, but it is what it is. Now this right here is a contaminated zone. You can see that door was locked over there. It's just a small area of the map, but if you actually had a key to unlock it, we could go in there. It requires a filter of level 2. What this means is that if you have a filter that is level 2 or higher, you're good to go. If you go in there with a level 1 filter, your filter is going to start to deteriorate, so you can spend a limited amount of time in there. Chances are there's some awesome loot in there, or at least the opportunity to claim some awesome loot. But we're just going to have to deal, because we don't have a key. So let's get back to the whole combat wombat fun thing and make this happen. I'm going to go ahead and use my scanner here so I can get an idea of where everybody is. We've got some environmental explosives. Let's make use of these. Cause some chaos. That guy's actually on fire. That really has to suck. Oh, we can put him out then. Don't worry, I got you, man. It's all good. You're not going to burn to death. I'm just going to shoot you in the face instead. Nobody gets away from us. I love the... There's some characters in this game. I think they've done a pretty good job already, just making sure that there's a lot of speech going on, communication with the bad guys against your characters. There's something fun about the things they say. They're like super corny action movie bad guy things. Save the doctor once again. How's it going, Doc? I got your back. Don't worry about it. They're not worthy of Hans Gruber, but they're probably worthy of being Hans Gruber's thugs. Let's put it that way. A lot of Die Hard references today. A lot of Die Hard references. Okay, so one of the things that I needed to talk about like 20 minutes ago regarding combat. Oh, what the hell? Oh, there we go. A lot of the situations that you'll find yourself in will have opportunities for you to flank as well as for the enemy to flank. Now the enemy will take advantage of those opportunities, as you saw there. We actually left this guy a little backdoor entrance there. So he took advantage of that. He made a flank, and he decided he was going to attempt to actually engage in melee combat with us by coming right through here. As long as you're in a situation where you don't have like a crazy vantage point, which doesn't happen very often, and there is room for the enemy to flank you, they will flank you. And as the game gets more difficult and you start doing the missions on hard mode, they become far more aggressive. So while it may initially seem like it's a lot of just pop and stop and shoot, the enemy's going to start to overwhelm you. And if you can't eliminate them quickly enough, if you're not efficient enough in taking them down, they will start to overwhelm you, and they'll kill you. It's as simple as that. I saw it happen numerous times to my brother and I when running this mission on hard mode, and I imagine if you soloed this mission on hard mode, you'd find yourself in that exact same situation, especially as we push closer to this boss fight here. The game really asks you to make use of those buffs, to make use of your abilities, to coordinate with your fire team, because when playing with other members, it does increase the difficulty of the game. And that's where the combat gets fun. That's where it gets interesting. That's where I think they've got some good combat going on here. I'm really looking forward to getting to the higher level stuff. I'm really looking forward to running a lot of the hard mode style missions. It's going to be exciting. Let's go ahead and restock our equipment here. The game's pretty generous in terms of ammunition types, and I'd have to say on normal, it might feel a little bit too generous. Like, you really don't have to worry about burning through ammo. But when you do start to increase the difficulty, you run out of ammo more quickly. In fact, I've completely ran out of ammo for my primary weapon, even my secondary, and had to be forced to switch to a sidearm. Let's not get ourselves killed here, Tony. No. Now, had we actually shot that guy before he threw the grenade, we could have got him to actually drop it on himself, which would have been helpful. Okay, I think we got the big baddie. So here's my thought process. Let's restock. We're gonna try and hit him from this left side here. We're definitely gonna make use of, I think we're gonna go with the incendiary. We're gonna get some burn damage on this guy. We gotta be careful how far we push into though, because we don't want to get ourselves flanked. I'm pretty sure there's actually a guy about to come up behind us, so let's just be aware of that. Okay, there's Hutch. I'm gonna say, let's kill this guy first. The last thing I wanted to do is engage in combat and have that dude show up and like shoot me in the butt or something. So a lot of these boss fights, right, with these actual elite tier enemies, I was gonna say they have sort of stages. Like, I've noticed the enemy will start in one location like he did. He'll kind of have Overwatch. He's actually reloading his weapon. And then he'll sort of navigate down to another area and engage in another layer of combat. We'll have another group of enemies come in. Let's go ahead and heal ourselves here. We'll use a med kit this time. Let's get a grenade on these guys, see if we can't wipe them out without having to expose ourselves too much. We're gonna want to use that downtime that Hutch has when he reloads his weapon to drop as many of these guys as we can before we move in on him. Alright, here's the plan. We're going to actually go ahead and we're going to use water. We're going to get plus 20% damage to elite enemies. And then we're going to try and push up on this guy. Also going to drop a grenade, hopefully right on his face. Let's flash him. Love the cover system in this game, by the way. Probably something, considering it's a considering it's a cover-based shooter, we probably should have talked about early on, but it really just feels good. I've always been a big fan of it since I started playing in the alpha. The ability to, oh, large suppressor, nice. The ability to simply point and then just run to a location, like, is just nice in combat. It feels clean, it feels smooth, it makes sense, you're never really second guessing yourself. We got a lot of good stuff there. And one of the things I like about it is the ability to cancel, like, at any time. So say we start running here, all we do is let go of A, and boom, we can cancel. We can go somewhere else. So you can string together really quick and rapid movements. And it makes moving from cover to cover really clean and easy. And when you're playing a cover-based shooter, that's exactly what you want. So let's see what we got here. We got an AK. I'm so stoked about this. It doesn't do as much damage as this M4, which for some reason just has a stupid high level of damage, but nonetheless, I'm really excited about that. Let's mark some of the stuff that I've got here for breakdown. I'm really excited about that AK. I really genuinely am. We got an M249. Let's go ahead. We're just going to deconstruct that stuff. And, oh, we just deconstructed the AK. No. I forgot. Okay, this is something they need to work on. You can mark things as junk, but then if you go to deconstruct junk, if you're on that weapon, it deconstructs it. And there's no way to bring that back. So we just lost our AK. Damn it. I'm really upset about that. I really wanted an AK. Oh, this is depressing. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can't throw that suppressor on our M4 here, because I'm all for a suppressor. So we're going to get reduced threat. The game doesn't really have a lot of stealth elements to it. You're going to notice that, like, when you go to engage in combat, usually they know you're there. But what it does is it reduces threat in an RPG sense. So you can have that character that maybe is going with the security style approach, has a shield. He's going to be your tank guy. He's going to draw a lot of the attention, and you can have a dude who's the healer, who is, you know, making sure he has reduced threat so he can worry more about healing the team and about being support and not really having to be under any heavy enemy fire. Again, the RPG components of this game really, really showing through. So we could increase our hip fire capacity with a PEC box there, but we're not going to do that. Not with this weapon anyways. Where that does make sense is on our shotgun. We could also go ahead and put the C79 LCAN scope on this thing to get increased accuracy. And this is also a zoom scope, so I guess I'll show that to you guys. Let's go ahead quickly, though. We'll throw the... I think we can put the laser on this thing. Oh, that's the wrong gun. That's a double barrel shotgun. It looks cool. We're not going to run with that, though. Okay, there we go. Underbarrel mods. Let's go ahead. We'll put that PEC box on this thing. We can also... No, the extended magazine's already on our rifle. All right, let's do this. So there we go. We got a nice little laser sight. And you can see we can actually zoom with this thing. So just like an ACOG, we actually have a proper zoom optic. I'm actually going to stick with that. I feel like that's all right. We'll give that a go. But let's head on out. Where are we going? I'm going the wrong way. I'm going this way. Here we go. So that was actually a mission that I already ran, but the whole point of that mission was to recover that doctor. The doctor then unlocked a wing inside of the medical facility, which is where we're going to go now. The last thing we're going to look at today, guys, we're going to take a look at our base of operations and talk a little bit about why it's important and how you're going to be unlocking perks and talents and all that good, juicy wonderfulness. Luckily enough, we can fast travel there. So once we get out of this place, we'll fast travel to the base of operations. Now, the base of operations is your own personal sort of hangout. Now, when I first realized this, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, well, that's weird. Like, why can't my friends come in? Why can't my fire team come in? But the fact is, the base of operations... Oh, yeah, we got a little bit of fog going on here. Here we go. I like it. I like it. Too bad we don't have... I wanted a snowstorm so badly, but we really didn't spend that much time outside. This might turn into a snowstorm. Looks like we got some, you know, nice fog, some mist rolling in. Might get really snowy pretty soon. This is the component of the Snowdrop engine I love the most. They really nailed the weather effects. So here's our different wings. Medical wing, tech wing, and security wing. Now, what I was saying was it wouldn't make sense for you to share a base of operations with your fire team because the way in which you progress your character through your talents and your perk tree is by progressing the different wings. So if you have all of, you know, your whole fire team all in the same place, you're going to be unlocking the same stuff at the same time, which means you don't have any diversity in the way that you build your characters. But if I'm progressing my medical wing in the full game, and my brother's progressing the tech wing, and my buddy's progressing the security wing, we're all earning and unlocking different perks in our respective skill trees, making our characters more diverse and adaptable in different situations, which makes us more effective as a fire team. It just makes sense. It really does. So here it is, the grand old base of operations. You can see we've got Fei Lao over here, always ready to rock and roll. We've got our stash, which we can store all the weapons we don't want to use. We can also see extracted items from the Dark Zone. That's how you're going to get your hands on those. Crafting station, not available in the beta, sadly. We've got our weapons, gear, and Moz vendor. When they have new items, you'll get that exclamation point next to them. So it looks like he's got a bunch of new stuff. RPK, he's got an M249, MP7. If only he had an AK. Let's sell off some of the stuff we're not using here, though. Let's sell off this right there. Sell off the double barrel shotgun. I'm going to hold on to the M249 because I feel like I might use a light machine gun at some point just to mess about with it. So we got a whole slew of modifications here, and you can get an idea as to what I was talking about. We've got the different types of suppressors. They're going to give you major and minor attributes. So this suppressor actually increases your optimal range on top of 3.5% reduced threat. So that's a really good suppressor. Initial burst ability, big time initial burst ability, plus reduced threat. And then we got some greens here, which aren't nearly as special. And the same goes if we talk to the gear vendor. We can look at our equipment here. She's got some blues. You're going to see those statistical bonuses. We got pistol damage bonus, increased kill experience, skill haste.
Nobody's got a better selection.
Okay, let's take a look at talents. I want to briefly gloss over these before we left. So this MP7 has a talent called Swift, which means reloading is 5% faster. Its requirement is 65 points in your firearm statistic and 65 in stamina. So if we purchase this MP7, we would actually have the talent Swift unlocked, and we'd have a 5% quicker reload speed. This, however, we don't. This is fierce. Critical hit chances increase 5% when using this weapon, 140 in firearms, and 65 in stamina. So we would need to do a lot of specking in our gear to get our firearm stat up, or just continue to level on unlock gear that has a higher firearms value. You'll also notice on the top left above the weapons vendor there is a restock time, so you'll know when they get new gear. Definitely not the primary source of awesome stuff. You know, you're going to be able to find most of it out in the field, but the opportunity to go there to make some money and possibly pick up a rare weapon that shows up in stock that happens to be pretty good is possible. So this is the base of operations. We've got all of these wings, which also have their own individual components. You can also see this is kind of the data area. So your incident reports that I was talking about, those are all going to be stored there. Here's the security wing, which has a bunch of different components which will eventually be unlocked on top of just unlocking the security wing. Got the rewards claim vendor. This is probably going to be where we're going to get a lot of our stuff that we got for participating in the beta as well as the alpha. Here's the medical wing. This is the only wing that you're going to be able to unlock in the beta, and the only one I have unlocked, and this is the only portion of that wing that you'll be able to unlock. This is the clinic. But you'll also notice we've got counseling, we've got pharmaceuticals, there's a bunch of stuff. And if we look at this computer here, we can see what we can unlock. So we've got virus lab, quarantine, and it's going to tell you exactly what skills it rewards. So by unlocking the quarantine with an upgrade of 400 points, I think you might actually be able to upgrade this in the beta. It doesn't look like it's locked. It looks like we just need 400 points. So going out and doing side missions, you'll notice some of the side missions, some of the primary missions grant you supplies, different types of supplies. In this case, medical supplies is what we need to unlock the quarantine. That's going to give us the Pulse mod for the recon pack, which increase range in its capability of locating nearby loot containers, tactical scanner, scrambler, and then contamination intel. Revealed all contaminated areas on the map. So, awesome. Definitely have to try and do that before the beta's done and over with. But that's pretty much the base of operations, guys. It's broken up into different areas, and of course, you know, as you play through the game, whatever you're sort of speccing your character around, you're going to unlock that stuff. Eventually, you're going to be able to unlock all of it, I'm sure. We've got 30 upgrades, base restoration at 3% here, but it's all about initially going where you want to go, upgrading the areas that you want to upgrade, at least once we get into the full game. So that's it, guys. That is the Division beta. That's it. That's all of its juicy goodness. Not everything is available in the beta there. In fact, we do have a filter level of 1. We would have started to die had we gone inside that location. Let's talk servers and group management really quick, though. Group management, really simple. You can invite friends to your group. You can return to a dark zone. You know, you can matchmake on the fly with other people. You can matchmake when you're going into those missions, like I said. It just works. There hasn't been any problems with the servers all day. I've been playing for about 3 hours now. There wasn't any problems with the servers in the alpha, I'll be honest. Like, I think we're going to be okay there. Obviously, at launch, things can get a little bit more dicey when we start talking a really large group of people who may now have played the beta or saw the beta and be genuinely excited about the game. But I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be just fine. I think Ubisoft Massive is pulling a rabbit out of a hat with this one. It's nice to see a group of developers that I thoroughly enjoy working on the Division. We've got Red Storm, Ubisoft Massive, a team that, you know, has done a lot of other stuff. It's cool to see them under Ubisoft now, making a shooter. Either way, I'm extremely impressed with the Division. I think you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I think the game has a ton of atmosphere. I like the combat. I like the open world design. I like what is here. Like, this is the game that I'm gonna play probably for a pretty decent chunk of time. Really looking forward to full release. Looking forward to getting to the higher level content, seeing, you know, how I can actually spec out my character. I think some of the most interesting elements of the Division are gonna come from building characters, you know, and they're gonna allow us to have up to 3 characters. So you're gonna be able to build a character for sort of every situation. I love that. I love that they're recognizing their RPG sort of core here when it comes to their design. I love that they're really going out of their way to make the RPG elements a big part of the Division. And as I've said so many times before, in many ways, I feel the Division is an RPG before it's a shooter. If you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave them down in the comments section below. If you guys haven't started submitting topics for Monday's Division Weekly, please do so. It's going to be a beta-focused discussion. If you have anything you want to talk about or anything you want me to answer that I didn't answer, that you didn't see in this video, that you just missed out on, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. I hope you're either playing the beta or going to be playing it when it goes live on the PC and the PlayStation 4 tomorrow. Enjoy it. Let me know what you think of your time with it, and I'll see you in the next one.